Hey guys, this is Steli Afti with Closeout. Today I want to talk about the 3 levels of customer needs and prospect needs. So a lot of times when I talk to salespeople and companies that are trying to sell and grow their sales force, when we're diving into discussing the way that they qualify prospects and the way that they identify the needs of a buyer, of a potential buyer, oftentimes when I poke them to hear a little bit more about their tactics and the way that they elicit more information and elicit understanding from their customers or prospective buyers, all I hear is the customer needs that they hear that they're asking for on a very high level. So there's basically 3 levels of customer needs. The first one, if you're selling to other businesses, the first one is the overarching company needs. Then the second level are the department needs or group needs that you're selling into. And the third one is the individual needs, the person that you're trying to sell to, the individual decision maker that's about to purchase your product or service. So you have to consider all 3 levels of needs: the company, the department, and the individual. And most of the time when I talk to salespeople and companies that are selling, they're only asking about the overarching company needs. So they'll tell me, well, we know exactly what our potential customers' needs are. We ask them about the company goals and the priorities they have over the next couple of quarters, and kind of the all kinds of things that are really relating only onto the company layer and level and not to the department or individual level. So let's go through these 3 levels into a little bit more detail to illustrate what I really mean when I talk about customer, department, and individual needs. So the company needs are things like overarching revenue, retention, big kind of strategic initiatives like launching a massive new product or feature. Things like competitors, like if there's something very strategic that's going on against or for a competitor that's going on. Fundraising needs, all these kind of very large-scale things that affect the entire business. Those are company needs and things that you need to know about and should consider as you're trying to sell your service or product to them. But one level below, when we're talking about department needs, here it's a little bit more differentiated, right? So department needs can be things like specific KPIs that the department is measured against. It can be strategic initiatives that the department has to deliver, a project that the department has to fulfill or ship to a certain point in time. But it also can, relate to certain types of politics, right? How does this department relate to other departments? Is there kind of an internal war or competition going on? Are there certain, changes in the management of these departments or that specific department? What kind of politics are going on? What kind of power struggles are going on? All these things can be really useful information to really understand the kind of needs that department have, the constraints, the challenges, and the problems it tries to solve. And then on a even lower level, on the third level, on the deepest level, basically, it's all about the needs that your individual buyer has, the person within the department, within the organization or company that is ultimately going to make the buying decision or champion to purchase your decision and champion the buying process internally. So that person's goals, yes, I mean, there's career goals, there's certain goals of deliverables that person has in their position, but there can also be broader goals and needs that you want to include and think about, like that person's family goals and life goals and personal goals and career goals. It could be things that they're trying to accomplish in the next few years within the company, or it can be things that they're trying to accomplish, beyond the company. It can be the things they're afraid of and the things that they're hopeful about. So there's a lot of like individual needs that will play into the actual decision making of buying your product. So in an ideal scenario, when you are selling, especially the larger the deal size is, meaning the more time you can actually spend to really understand the buyer, in an ideal scenario, you will understand your buyer on all 3 levels. You will know the company overarching goals and needs. You will know the department goals and needs and constraints. You will know the individual's goals and needs. If you understand these 3 layers, you're going to be a lot more effective in selling to them, understanding when there are roadblocks and why and how to overcome them, and ultimately help the individual buyer as well as the department and the overarching company, hopefully, to accomplish all their needs and goals with your solution, your support, once they buy from you. So what if you don't have the time to learn all these things, and go very deep on all 3 layers? Well, in an ideal scenario, if you can only choose one, you would want to understand the individual first and foremost. I did an interview a little while ago with Gary Vaynerchuk, and we talked about entrepreneurial salesmanship. It's an awesome video. You can search for it on YouTube and hope you'll enjoy it. But one thing that really struck me as profound was that I asked Gary, how did you go from selling wine to individual consumers to selling, social media campaigns to massive brands, Fortune 500 companies? What has been the difference in the transition of selling to an individual consumer a bottle of wine versus selling to like a CMO, hundreds and hundreds of thousands worth of social media marketing campaigns? And you know what he said? There's no difference whatsoever. He always sells to the individual. He doesn't give a shit about Coca-Cola or BMW. He always sells to, Bob or Marie or, whoever it is. He always sells to the individual in front of him, and doesn't believe that there's this concept of a corporation. Doesn't sell to, Coca-Cola or Walt Disney. He sells to Linda. And I think that's a pretty profound thought, and probably one of the many reasons why he's so successful in what he does. So try to sell on all three layers: company, department, and individual. But if you have to choose one, choose the individual versus going with what most people do, which is the easiest level, which is the company. Because it's easy for people to talk about the company's goals versus their own personal goals. It takes a little bit more trust. It takes a little bit more salesmanship. It takes a little bit more humanity to actually connect with somebody on a level where they open up and they talk to you about their own needs and goals, versus talk about the company, which is this complex construct of like all these people and all these, this is something very, very theoretical versus like something that's truly personal. So, but hence why the more personal one is the more valuable one, and probably the one that your competitors will have no clue about. So think about all three levels of your customers and prospects' needs. And if you have to choose one, choose the personal one.